It is my privilege to introduce a distinguished graduate of Southwest Minnesota State University to offer our 50th commencement address. Mr. Steve Bender is a 1979 alum with a degree in business administration. Mr. Bender is the executive vice president and president of Hormel Business Units. He joined the Austin, Minnesota-based food company shortly after graduating in 1979 with a degree in business administration. In his current role, he oversees both the refrigerated foods and grocery products division. Steve was a native of North Riverside, Illinois, when he was recruited by Don Palm to swim for the SMSU Mustangs. He had an illustrious career and was a four-time All-American as an undergraduate. He's a proud member of the SMSU Athletic Hall of Fame and a 2009 Alumni Achievement Award winner. In addition to being on the swim team at Southwest, he was also a resident assistant in the resident halls, where he fondly remembers learning important life skills that have served him well in his professional life at Hormel, where he has served in 15 different positions. An advocate of lifelong learning, Mr. Bender attended the Management Executive Program at the Carlson School of Business at the University of Minnesota, and he completed the Advanced Management Program at Harvard Business School. Steve is a charter member of the Culinology Advisory Council and has helped in the recruitment of students for internships and employment at Hormel. He's a board member of the Austin Area Foundation and is an active member of the Austin Rotary Club. He and his spouse, Debbie, are the parents of two grown sons. Please join me in a wonderful Mustang welcome to Mr. Steve Bender.
Thank you, Provost Watson, President Gores, esteemed members of the faculty, proud parents and relatives, devoted friends, roommates, teammates, coaches, loan officers. Congratulations. But most especially, congratulations to Southwest Minnesota State University, class of 2018. It is truly an honor to be your commencement speaker on the 50th anniversary of the university. It's a milestone the community of Marshall, the state, as well as all alumni can be extremely proud of. Today is a day of celebration, gratitude, and reflection. Be happy for this moment. Take a minute. Look around. Remember how today feels. Remember those who have gotten you to this very spot. Because today marks the end of one era and the beginning of another in your life. And trust me, life goes by pretty darn fast. It's hard to believe that 39 years ago, I was sitting where you are today. The country was in the beginning of an economic recession. There were long lines at gas stations due to oil crisis. Inflation was 13% and rising. Unemployment was 6% and rising. Interest rates were 11% and rising. Things weren't looking too good. I didn't have a job. I didn't know what I was going to be doing, where I was going to be living, or how I was going to make ends meet. What I did have was a diploma from this fine academic institution and a serious girlfriend who later became my wife. After 38 years, Debbie is still with me, and she joins me today with our two wonderful sons, Michael and David. So for those of you who have a pretty good idea of what you want to do, that's great. Congratulations. For the many who don't have it all figured out, it's okay. I'm living proof it'll all work out. And to address the decorated mortar, my BS paid off. There are three things I'd like to share with you on this special day. They are: commit to the journey, not just the destination. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and it's progress, not perfection. And I want to start with a favorite quote of mine, which has been credited to a number of people, but most famous is J.P. Morgan. And he said, "Go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you'll be able to see farther. Go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you'll be able to see farther. Whether in business or in life, the quote speaks to goal setting and plan attainment. It speaks to personal growth and development, that with each life experience, your outlook will change and your horizon will expand. So no matter how far you go, you will always be able to see farther and always have the ability to go farther. So my first point to you is commit to the journey, not just the destination, because I'm convinced that you'll never know where the journey will take you. You may have dreams and aspiration, but you will never truly know where life will take you. Coming to Marshall, Minnesota, for example, from a suburb of Chicago to attend school that was then called Southwest State University, well, it really extended my horizon. While both places have similar reputation for unrelenting wind, what I experienced and enjoyed most was the contrast of the hectic city life with the calm of prairie life. It was a safe place where the people I met were friendly and accepting. And for the next 4 years, I gained an education and self-confidence that came with being a student athlete, competing with a swim team that achieved significant individual and team successes. Through my time with legendary swim coach Don Palm, I came to understand the importance of self-motivation, hard work, commitment, focus, and a belief in one's abilities. I had a strong sense of belonging while bonding with fellow swimmers from Tacoma, Washington, Anchorage, Alaska, Sheridan, Wyoming, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, La Crosse, Wisconsin, and of course all across the great state of Minnesota. And I forged what turned out to be lifelong relationships. Those relationships during college helped me to compete at a high level and taught me the power of a winning team. I can tell you today that each of my teammates had an impact on my life, and I benefited from a strong support system, so I encourage each of you to find your team. Find your team. And team members don't always have to be peers. I never expected the influence that Professor Jim Babcock would have on me, steering me from an education profession that I had chosen to a life in the business world, channeling my impatience and competitive spirit into a career of sales and business management. During my senior year, I was a resident assistant on campus for the dorm Sabaris. The lessons I learned from Beth Connor, the director of residential housing, have been invaluable. The ability to build trust, resolve conflict, and create community are lessons I still use today. I fully expect, just as I have, you will leave here a different person than when you arrived. There was no way I knew coming here how much I would change and grow through the people I met and the experiences I had. And I suspect that many of you can say the same thing about your time here. I believe it's called the Southwest experience. You see, your path at 22 will not be the same path at 32 or 42. We change, we grow, and we evolve with each challenge and experience. Having a destination in mind is a good thing, but knowing exactly where you're going is not as important as embracing the journey you are on. So commit to the journey. Second, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Uncertainty never really goes away. For most of us, this means you need to challenge ourselves to do things that sometimes you really don't want to do. After graduation, I hired on with Hormel Foods, based in Austin, Minnesota. I was interviewing with Minnesota companies so I could stay close to Debbie and all my friends. It was my comfort zone. Hormel had other plans. I started in sales in Atlanta, Georgia. I relocated 9 times in my first 13 years with Hormel. I lived in Jacksonville, Orlando, Indianapolis, Oklahoma City, and Cincinnati. And each relocation increased my responsibilities and provided me with unique demands. I had to learn new products, form relationships with new customers and new coworkers, and adapt to new social environments. I learned self-awareness, humility, empathy, and how to listen. And each time I moved, I was able to reinvent myself from the lessons I learned from the previous locations. Reinvention is a wonderful thing when you change your surroundings and broaden your horizon. One of my biggest obstacles I had to overcome is public speaking and presentations to large groups. I'm an introvert by nature. To stand before you today, while truly an honor, is a bit outside my comfort zone. Throughout my career, I knew I needed to work at it. I took Dale Carnegie and attended Toastmasters. I tried to put myself in front of audiences so I would be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I practice. It's hard to get worse at something if you practice. It's incredibly important to be self-aware. Identify areas for personal and professional development, and then place yourself in those situations to allow yourself to grow. I truly believe you will never know how good you are or how good you can be unless you put yourself out there. Make uncertainty your friend and take the necessary action to maximize your true potential so you never have to wonder. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Finally, remember it's progress, not perfection. You don't have to be perfect. My family can attest that this is one of the hardest things for me to accept. Fear of failure can either be a great motivator or can be absolutely paralyzing. I can't tell you how many times I've made mistakes and thought the world would come to an end. But instead of being the end of the world, those mistakes helped me to grow and move forward on my journey. People will say, learn from your mistakes. In sales, when you face rejection, they say, don't take it personally. Well, I do take it personally. I don't like rejection, and I don't like mistakes, and I don't endorse failure for the sake of advancement. But guess what? There is no such thing as perfection, only progress. So the advice I can give you is to have thick skin, be resilient, persevere through adversity and setbacks. Have some compassion for yourself as well as others. Learn to laugh at yourself and life in general. Laughing releases the tension of perfectionism. You do not need to be perfect, but you should strive to be the very best. If you don't, you'll never know how good you are or how good you can be. It's progress, not perfection. As I reflect on my journey, there were many people who saw more in me than I saw in myself. For this, I am humbled and grateful. It's important to have mentors, to form personal relationships, and to network with people who can provide appreciative as well as constructive feedback. Feedback is a gift. We all need feedback to help us navigate this journey. I've had a supportive family, wonderful mentors, and close friends to help me guide along the way. So, again, I encourage you to develop your support network. My journey, when I left here 39 years ago, started in sales. But the truth be told, I wasn't very good at sales. I did, however, find my passion and purpose in building highly effective teams and developing a results-oriented culture. It's called leadership. The ability to inspire others to accomplish together what no one single person can do on their own. I didn't know that's what I was going to be doing. Didn't know I was going to be good at it. Many of you will have the opportunity to lead. Most of you will have the opportunity to be a part of a team. But all of you will have the opportunity to inspire others on their journey. So whether you desire to be a small part of something bigger or a big part of something smaller, there is no greater satisfaction than inspiring others and being a part of something larger than yourself. Success isn't always predictable, success isn't always grand, and success isn't final. The truth is, you never really make it. The truth is, you never really arrive. And do you know why? It's because you can always see a little farther. Your graduation today is a success. It doesn't end here. That's why they call it commencement. You can see a little farther. Your view is bigger and broader than when you first arrived on this campus. In your journey, it's just beginning, and oh, what a journey it will be. Congratulations, class of 2018. The best is yet to come. Thank you.